sound fun at all. Going out for 2 years without girls or television or video games or sports, things like that.
Mhm.
But he loved his mission, so that kind of got me thinking that maybe there was something more to it. And that, and I think also my patriarchal blessing talked about that I would serve in a special place, and I always kind of wonder what that would be, and it might be a shame to not find out what that was. But it also promised me like really good, like awesome blessings about my future family and school and things like that, and job if I went on a mission. And so obviously those aren't the reasons to go on a mission, but for me at the time, those were the things that would kind of be factors that would want me to go on make me want to go on a mission. But I still didn't do anything about it. It was kind of in my head, and um, and so and as I kept going, I still kept like making mistakes and whatnot. And I think I just got so happy at one point that I finally decided I wanted to change, and I finally decided to see if I should go on a mission. I think I decided to go on a mission, but I was going to do it for all the wrong reasons. And so like I kind of thought to myself, I need to do it for the right reasons, or else it's going to be a really bad 2 years. That'll be miserable. And so I started reading the Book of Mormon and praying, and I just remember the first night after reading the Book of Mormon and praying for the first time, I read it for like 30 minutes or an hour, and the next morning I just was really happy, and I was much more positive, and I think I felt the Spirit for the first time in a long time, and from that point on I kind of stopped doing everything I was doing. Told my friends I was going to go on a mission. I couldn't do certain stuff with them anymore, and just from that point on, I kept praying for a mission. And about a year later, I went on a mission. So
That's awesome.
yeah, obviously it's been a huge blessing.
So before you went on your mission, you went to BYU Provo?
No, so I went to Idaho still.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering.
I actually lived in Harris Hall, just right over there.
Oh, really? I know where that is.
Mm-hmm.
I had another question. How old were you when you got your patriarchal blessing?
I think I was 17.
You're 17?
Yeah, and I just kind of got it at the time, so my parents would stop bugging me about it.
Oh.
So, but
you didn't really want to, you just did it?
Yeah, I didn't really want to. I just thought it was kind of I just didn't feel like going through the steps to get it, even though it's not that long. But I mean, obviously, and I didn't really appreciate it at the time I first got it, but now I obviously appreciate it a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I was 17 when I got it.
Was there anything like specific that, I don't know, led you to want to go on a mission for a right reason, or start going to church or anything?
Well, going back to church at the beginning was pretty much just because she was just trying to make my parents happy.
Uh-huh. You were living with them?
Yeah, I was living with them, and I just kind of keep them off my back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The mission started as just me wanting to go on a mission because I knew it would give me a better chance of success in the future, because I knew it would make me a harder worker and I'd probably be a better student afterwards and whatnot. And so I knew that my future would be a lot better if I did go on a mission. But once I started reading Book of Mormon and praying, it changed to I want to go on a mission because it made me happy, and I knew it could make others happy too.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like my experiences could help others. And of course I didn't have an amazingly strong testimony when I first got to the MTC. It was still pretty new.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew that it had blessed my life a lot, and but I didn't know, I couldn't say anything for sure that it was true. Like, I want it to be true. I believed it was true. But I knew that had made me a lot happier, and that it blessed me a lot. So I knew it would do the same for others.
Mhm.
So it kind of shifted, it switched
Mhm.
during that process.
That's good. Did you, when you went to the MTC or started your mission, did you have at least like a certain testimony of Christ or the Book of Mormon or prayer?
Yeah, I believed. Like I said, it wasn't super strong at the time.
Yeah.
It grows a lot on your mission from the
Uh-huh.
experiences you have and from all the studying you do and whatnot. But I believed, and I believed it was true, and I wanted it to be true, like the Book of Mormon and Jesus Christ, and I believed that God had answered my prayers, but it wasn't like a sure thing. Like my testimony is still very new, and I think I really got a sure answer from my prayers. The Book of Mormon was true. In the first 3 months of my mission, when our mission president has all the new missionaries read the Book of Mormon in the first 3 months, and there's a schedule to do that.
Mhm.
And I think it was after I finished Enos. There's a part in Enos where Enos was only one chapter, but at the end, Enos is kind of, I felt like Enos is kind of similar to me because he talks about how he kind of wondered a lot upon the things his father taught him, and then while he was hunting, but he taught a lot about eternal. He taught a lot about the joy of the saints, he says, and I believe also the eternities. He taught a lot about what happened after this life. And he was out hunting, and he got down and he prayed for a full day, and then at night, the voice of the Lord comes to him and tells him his sins are forgiven him. And then he becomes a straight missionary. And then he talks about how, at the end, how he's about to die, but he's not afraid that he's going to die. He's at peace because he knows he lived his life in a way that he'll return love with God again and have eternal happiness. And I remember that really kind of resonated with me. I had a feeling to get down on my knees and pray and ask him if the Book of Mormon was true. And I had a really strong confirmation from the Spirit that it was. And I think that was the first time back I can remember that I really got a strong answer from my prayers that the Book of Mormon was true. And so from there, that's when my testimony really, really grew. And then from there, I built upon it from there, of course.
So that was 3 months into your mission?
Yeah, I was within 3 months, so probably in between 2 and 3 months.
Okay. Cool. I don't know what to ask at this point.
How long do I 15 minutes now?
It's been 25 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's make it to 30.
Okay.
And then, let's see, what else? What else can I tell you? Where do you think you want to go with your story? And I'll tell you. Maybe I can see if I think of something that will add to it.
Well, I'll probably just focus on your conversion and probably still talk a little about your mission too, because that was a little bit a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell me more about your mission.
Okay. Let's see. Something that I'll tell you a couple stories. Couple of through my patriarchal blessing. I talked about earlier about how my patriarchal blessings I go to a special place and I'd serve a special mission. And so of course I always thought I'd be going to somewhere cool like maybe like somewhere in China or something like that that hadn't been like opened yet, or or just somewhere far out there. And so the last place I thought it would be was Utah. And so when I first got called to Utah, I was pretty shocked at first and pretty disappointed for a little bit. And I got over it pretty quick. I realized that it didn't matter exactly where I served. I was going where the Lord wanted me to. But initially, most people are pretty disappointed when they get called to Utah because they want to go somewhere cool or foreign. And but when Patriarchal Blessing also says that I'd receive a significant and sweet manifestation from the Spirit that I was going to a special place. And I had smaller little light feelings of that, but I hadn't really had a really powerful one. At the end of my mission, Richard G. Scott came and spoke to us, and he talked a lot about the way the work was going with all these new missionaries. It was after the time that they changed for the missionaries. But then he talked about how our mission in Utah was, because it's the headquarters of the church there, he said it was as important, if not more important, than any of the other missions. And then he said that we were in a very special place. And so when he said those words, that's probably the time I remember I felt the Spirit stronger than any other time in my life. It was when he said that. It was very significant that we were in a special place. And so it was cool at the end of my mission to see that fulfillment of what the picture of the blessing said. That we were in a special place. And I never looked at it like that, but it is pretty special because it's where the saints gave up everything over in the east to come through the winter and through harsh times to come settle in Salt Lake. And so that was a very cool experience for me.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Maybe one more experience I can share is there was kind of what I tried to focus on a lot in my mission, and I grew a strong testimony was just following small promptings of the Spirit. And I realized it's not always like a feeling you get. Sometimes it's your own thought. And it doesn't always lead to something. Sometimes I think the Lord will test you to see if you'll follow some promptings that might not yield anything, but then you keep following them, he'll, and you've proven yourself that you'll listen to those, he'll send you to the right place. And I had a few experiences like that on my mission, just where we followed promptings, nothing happened, and we kept getting more promptings, and eventually we'd find someone out of the blue who was ready to be baptized. But one experience I had was about a year and a half out. So I was coming towards the tail end of my mission, and we were going to go teach one of our recent converts who had just been baptized. And we went to his apartment, and I looked down, and we were already like 5 minutes late. And I looked down, about 100 yards away, there's a man sitting on a bench. And my initial thought was, we don't have time. We're supposed to talk to everyone, but we don't have time. And I just really had the feeling that we need to go talk to him. And so we put our reach on hold for a little bit. I went down and talked to him, and I sat down. And I started talking to him a little bit and told him who we were. And he was writing letters. And we started talking to him a little bit, and we shortly found out that he had just got kicked out of rehab. He was a heroin addict, and he had some sort of charge for it, but if he went through 3 months of rehab, then they would drop a lot of the charges. And he got kicked out one time, they let him go back in for second chance, and he just got kicked out again for relapsing on heroin. And because of that, he started looking up to 10 years in prison. And so he was actually writing goodbye letters to his family, because he had actually just tried to commit suicide 3 times earlier that day and was somehow survived. And he said he was about to commit suicide again. And so when we talked to him, about the plan of salvation, how God sent us to him, things like that, and the meaning behind life, and that there's more after this life, we talked to him a bit more about plan of salvation and whatnot. And he ended up, at the end of it, he was crying and whatnot. And he got up and he hugged us a few times. And he thanked us for saving his life. He said he was going to kill himself. And I lost a little contact with him after that, but I did call him a couple weeks later. And he ended up getting back into rehab where he could finish out and get the charges dropped. And so he was just really thankful because he might kill himself and not had that chance to later. And so that was just a neat experience for me, just following, the Spirit. And even though he didn't get baptized, he might, in the future, maybe if missionaries run into him, he might remember, what happened, and remember that, that God, that God watched out for him and he was there for him. Maybe sometime in the future, he'll, maybe that'll have an effect.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
That's cool.
Yeah.
32 minutes.
Okay. If that's enough, and then if you have more, we can text back.
Yeah, I can
Back and forth.
probably email you